Welcome to my class on vocabulary associated with the environment. In this class, I'm going to be teaching you some words that have to do with the environment. And my intention is to have you make mastery of these words and begin to simply apply them in sentences, in everyday conversation, even in essay writing. To start with, what is the environment? The term environment has been defined as the surroundings or conditions in which a person, animal, or plant lives or operates. It is also the natural world as a whole or in a particular geographical area, especially as affected by human activity. So we have our immediate environment, and so on and so forth. Man lives on land and relates with animals in the forest and fishes in the sea. So, I am going to be introducing you to some terms that have to do with the environment. The first one is the word environ. The word environ can be a verb. Now, this as a verb, it has no s attached to it. Like you have here, environ. So, the word environ means to surround, enclose a place or a person or anything. A second example is the church was environed with well-trimmed trees. Now, the noun form of environ normally takes s, is a plural form. The environs simply refers to the surrounding parts or districts of a city, outskirts, suburbs, or the surrounding objects, surroundings, environment, an area or space close by. The word environs can also mean vicinity. Now, the next word I want to introduce to you is the word biodegradable. Biodegradable of a substance or object. When you say something is biodegradable, it means it's capable of being decomposed by bacteria or other living organisms and thereby avoiding pollution. So like our kitchen waste, the remains of our food that we eat are biodegradable because they can decompose or they can be decomposed by bacteria or other living organisms. We have another word there, non-biodegradable. The word non-biodegradable means not capable of decomposing by natural processes and therefore possibly harmful to the environment. When you say something is not biodegradable, it means it cannot be decomposed by organisms. And the next word here is pollutant. The word pollutant is a substance that pollutes something, like you can see here. Gases that are emitted here into the atmosphere by human industrial activities are pollutants. The next one is ozone. The ozone, like you have a layer in the atmosphere, that's the ozone layer. But the word ozone is a gas. Ozone is a colorless, unstable gas with a pungent odor and powerful oxidizing properties formed from oxygen by electrical discharges or ultraviolet light. The ozone is different from oxygen in that oxygen is just O2, meaning there are two atoms in a molecule of oxygen, but for ozone there are three atoms like you can see here. Now you have ozone layer. When you hear people talk about ozone layer depletion, and you begin to wonder, what's ozone layer? Ozone layer is a layer in the Earth's stratosphere at an altitude means height, of about 10 kilometers, containing a high concentration of ozone, which absorbs most of the ultraviolet radiation reaching the Earth from the sun. You know, the sun is very hot, and when they are rays, when rays from the sun are directed to the Earth, the ozone layer, the gases in the ozone layer trap the ultraviolet rays from reaching the Earth. The ultraviolet rays are quite dangerous to the skin, are quite dangerous to inhabitants of the Earth. Then we have ozone depletion. When you hear people talking about ozone depletion, when you hear people talking about there's global warming as a result of ozone depletion, what that simply means is that there's a reduction in the concentration of ozone in the ozone layer. Then we have the greenhouse. The greenhouse is a glass building in which plants that need protection from cold weather are grown. Then we have the greenhouse gases. The greenhouse gases are gases in the Earth's atmosphere that trap heat. They let sunlight pass through the atmosphere, but they prevent the heat that the sunlight brings from leaving the atmosphere. So the greenhouse gases trap the heat, doesn't allow it to leave the atmosphere to reach the inhabitants of the Earth. So the greenhouse gases help prevent heat, direct heat from the sun. Like I said, the sun is very hot, and nature has put things in place to prevent this heat from reaching the Earth. One of the things that nature has put in place to prevent this heat is the greenhouse gases. Then you have greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is a natural process that warms the Earth's surface. When the sun's energy reaches the Earth's atmosphere, some of it is reflected back to space, and the rest is absorbed and radiated by greenhouse gases. The absorbed energy warms the atmosphere and the surface of the Earth. Then you have global warming. You hear in the news global warming all the time, and begin to wonder, what is this all about? Global warming is a gradual increase in the overall temperature of the Earth's atmosphere, generally attributed to the greenhouse effect by increased levels of carbon and other pollutants. So carbon, like you have carbon monoxide, especially, is a pollutant. Then you have aerosol. An aerosol is a substance enclosed under pressure and released as fine spray by means of a propellant gas. So when you, like you see here, when you the spray that comes out from that enclosed from the pressure that is the pressure that encloses the gas. So when there's a release, what it produces or what it brings out is referred to as aerosol. Then we have the ecosystem. The ecosystem is a biological community of interacting organisms and their physical environment. So we have physical environment, we have organisms in the physical environment. The community of these interacting organisms might relates with plants, and plant relates with the soil, and so on and so forth. That's an ecosystem. Then you have habitats. The word habitat is not a very It's not a very difficult word. It's not a very strange word. I'm sure you have heard about the word habitat before now in your science classes. The habitat or a habitat is a natural home or environment. For example, man lives in a terrestrial habitat while fishes live in an aquatic habitat. And the word terrestrial simply means on or relating to the earth, or off or on dry land. A pollution. The word pollution, when you hear that there's pollution in the atmosphere, the word pollution simply means the presence of or introduction into the environment of a substance which has harmful or poisonous effects. So when there is a substance that is released into the atmosphere that has harmful or poisonous effect, such a substance referred to, such a process or such a state referred to as pollution, while such a substance is referred to as a pollutant. Then you have aquatic. The word aquatic simply means that which relates to water. Like you have fishes live in water. Say fishes are aquatic organisms because they live in water. Then you have the word desert. A desert is an arid land with usually sparse vegetation. So when there is no, as an example here, you can see animals, camels, going through the desert. No vegetation or very sparse vegetation, dry land, no trees, and all that. Then you have desertification from the word desert. Desertification is a process by which fertile land becomes desert, typically as a result of drought, of deforestation, or inappropriate agriculture. For example, in a sentence, you could have something like nearly 1/5 of the world's land is threatened with desertification. And you have deforestation or deforestation. Deforestation is the action of clearing a wide area of trees. When you remove trees from an area, you are said to be practicing what is known as deforestation. Now, the other words that have to do with the environment, the other words like afforestation, lumbering, forest, forest guard, forest reserve, globalization, fossil fuel, desert encroachment, terrain, terrace, vegetation, landscape, virgin land, green revolution, moat, canal, ocean, ocean current, cyclone. Cyclone is a natural disaster or can bring about a natural disaster. Landslide, it's also a natural disaster. Typhoon, a natural disaster. Hurricane, like you hear, Hurricane Gabriela, Hurricane Susan, and all that in America, in the US, United States. You have carbon monoxide is a very poisonous gas. Like the fumes from vehicles that are faulty, the fumes that are released from vehicles, those black fumes that are released from vehicles that are faulty, it's actually carbon monoxide. It's a terrible pollutant. Then you have chlorofluorocarbon, CFC. Then you have other words like earthquake. Here's an example of an earthquake. Then you have hail. It's an example of hail. You have hailstone, stones from hail. You have alluvial. The word alluvial is from the word alluvium. The word alluvium is a deposit of clay, of silt, and of sand left by flood water in a valley or delta, typically producing fertile soil. So that's the size of my package on vocabulary associated with the environment. Now, there are some words there that you need to write down and look up the meanings in your dictionary. And attached to this class is a quiz exercise, a quiz activity that will test your knowledge of what you've learned in this class. Hope to see you in my next class. Bye.